Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk's Bounty video, and welcome to episode 65 of Ask Bossk's Bounty. This is of course the weekly series where I answer your questions from the comment section below. So if you do have a question for next week's episode, be sure to leave it in those comments, and then hopefully you'll be featured next week. Before we get on to this week's questions, I did want to do a couple of shout outs. The first shout out is for a fan of the channel called Phil Birrell, who kindly sent me this awesome spear to go with the Mandalorian. I do believe it's 3D printed. He sent me 3 or 4 of them, so my son has one as well. And if I just show you a close-up of it here, if I can get that in shot. So basically I believe it's 3D printed and obviously painted silver, so it looks like the Beskar spear that he does get in season 2. And I kind of like having mine displayed between his jetpack and his back there. It fits very nicely. It's not going anywhere. And it looks super cool on the back of his armor there. So that's pretty cool. So thank you very much for that, Phil. I do appreciate that. And my son's loving his as well. The second shout out I wanted to give was to Chris Stevens. This Bossk mask, which did feature in one of my videos the other day. I had this made. He is an amazing mask maker, and I got this patch to go with it here, if I can get that in the light. So Chris Stevens Creations. He is on Instagram. I'll put the Instagram up on the screen and also put a link in the description below. He makes some amazing masks. Obviously I wanted the Bossk one here, but he does, I mean, his Queel mask is fantastic. He does Bib Fortuna, Squid Head, some unbelievable masks. And I do believe that they do qualify for you know, cosplay groups like the 501st and things like that. This one isn't actually a wearable mask. It is just a display mask. I did ask him about it if I did want to make it wearable. You know, I'd need to sort of cut the nostrils out. That's how you would see. You'd need to be able to breathe out of the mouth, and you'd need to cut the back of it basically to see out of it. But I'm sure you'll agree if I just show you the side of it there, the detail, the paintwork. And it's made very much like an action figure's made. So you have like a mold, or a sculpt rather, and then a mold, and then you pour the latex, I guess, into the mold. And then obviously he does his job with the amazing paintwork. But fantastic. I, you know, advise you to go and check out his Instagram and look at his amazing work, because you know, I'm not going to say they're cheap. They're not cheap, and it did cost me a pretty penny to get this, but this is going to look fantastic on display in my collection room. And I bought this like hat stand for it to sit on like that, and it just looks absolutely awesome. So thank you very much for that, Chris. I appreciate that, my friend. And the third and final shout out is to Denny King, who is my latest Patreon supporter. Thank you so much. We have 45 Patreon supporters now, and when I get to 50, it's like a little goal of mine. When I get to 50, I will be doing a like Patreon only live stream on top of my other live streams and other content. So the people that don't support me on Patreon, that's absolutely fine. Of course, all the regular content will be there as usual, but that's just a little extra for the people that support me. So I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much, Denny King, and thank you very much to all my other supporters. Thank you so much. And also in this video, we are going to be drawing the winner of the giveaway for the 2 figures that were kindly donated by Anthony Robinson. So stay tuned later in the video to see if you are the winner of that giveaway. And with all that being said, let's get on to the first question, and it is from Jimmy Dunn, and he says, what's your favourite multi-figure pack or box sets over all the Star Wars figure lines? And I've probably got to say that it is the special action figure sets that we have here, the 3 packs. I do have all of them for the vintage collection, and I only wish that I could afford the original vintage ones, but they go for what my friend the action figure grader would say, many thousands of dollars. So I would love one of those. It's never going to happen, so I'll make do with the modern vintage collection versions, but I just love the presentation. It's based on the original Kenner 3 packs, and I just think they're great. Hamish Lipscomb says, question for next week, when do you think we'll get a Star Wars the vintage collection AT-AT driver without the swivel arms? So we did get one of those in the Legacy collection, I think it was, and I believe that he was repacked into the, again, the 3 packs. So we had, I think it was included in 2 of the 3 packs in the vintage collection. So it's pretty an easy one for them to do, Hasbro, if they were to repack that figure, as we've seen with the recent Fan First Friday reveals of the 3 50th anniversary Lucasfilm finished the 96 figures. The AT-ST driver, Leia in her Endor poncho, and of course the Paploo figure. These ones are all kind of repaints, rehashes, and The AT-AT driver's no different. I don't think they'd ever give us a new sculpt for that figure. They'd just go, there you go, there's the one from the Legacy collection. So I could see them doing it, maybe not this year, possibly next year. The Idle Animator says, hi boss, great video. Question for next week. What figure do you think every collector should own? Man, is this going to be an obvious answer? It's Bossk. No. The figure that everyone should own in their collection, in my opinion, is the original Farm Boy Luke Skywalker. It's kind of the figure that started it all. If you haven't really got a Luke Skywalker Farm Boy in your collection, whether that's vintage or modern, then is it really a collection? You know, it's Luke Skywalker in his original Star Wars outfit. I would also say that Bossk is one that you should have in your collection, I must admit. He's just a great figure. And I want to thank Yorkie Bespin. He's got a YouTube channel and he sold me this guy. This is a factory error Bossk. As you can see, he doesn't have the red paint on his neckline there, but he does have it on the back. Now, some people might think that I'm mad buying these variants, but, you know, I'm getting quite a good Bossk collection going of vintage figures, and, yeah, I just had to have that one in my collection. So thank you to Yorkie Besbin for selling me that. Josh G says, hey boss, question for next video. Some of my TVC cards have some grimy dirt stuff on them when I've received them in the mail from pre-orders. Is there any way to clean the card, the bubble, without damaging it? Thanks. Yeah, I wouldn't really want to touch the bubble because I think whatever you use on that, it'll probably leave some kind of scratch on it. The cards itself, I've managed to get grime off of old vintage cards using just a really light duster, but with a bit of furniture polish sprayed on it. So don't spray it on the card, but spray a tiny weeny bit of furniture polish onto your rag or whatever, and then that will just gently rub it off the grime off the card, and you'll see it come off up on the duster. But yeah, don't press too hard, you don't want to damage the card. I do apologise, but I don't think I'm going to be able to pronounce your name. Is it Loggerroll? Hey boss, question for next week. Do you think after this Fan First Friday, Hasbro will start to listen to the community more, make more side characters of requested characters and not just the repacks and reissues? Well, if it's anything to go by with the reveals, we did get 2 brand new figures from the Clone Wars, so that's one thing, but we did also get 3 repacks, which are going, to finish off the 96. Will they listen more? I think they did do like a bit of an apology at the start, so they are listening to do with, all the problems that they had with VC177 and Walmart and what have you. Whether it'll make any difference, I don't know, but they're aware of it and at least they addressed it. Are they going to be close to the community and listen to us more? I sincerely hope so. They've listened to us on a few things like the Boba Fett card and things like that, but when it comes to specific character requests, I doubt it. Horror Fan says, hey boss, great video as always, my friend. Question for next week. Have you ever thought of joining the 501st Legion and cosplay as Bossk? So it's a good question considering this arrived this week. As I said, it's not a wearable mask. This one, it is just a display mask. I've never really been into cosplay, so I don't think I would. If I go to a convention or something, I wouldn't want to be tied to sort of having to walk around in a costume all day. I would imagine it gets very uncomfortable for those guys in different masks and helmets and what have you. It's not for me, but as I say, I love this thing just being on display. Dave Chambers says, great Q&A this past week, boss. Question, piggybacking off the question from last week with the Vintage Collection 200 coming, I liked your idea of an updated brand new sculpt for Tatooine Luke. Do you think Hasbro could be planning a whole wave of figures based on the original 12 or at least the early bird kit? That would be great in my opinion. I'm not sure if they are planning on that or not, but when I think about that, if you think about convention exclusives and perhaps going back to 2012, I think it was, with the Death Star set, or 2011, can't remember which year that exactly was, with all the revenge cards, wouldn't it be fantastic if they did something similar to that with new sculpts of Leia and Luke and Han Solo and Ben Kenobi, like the original characters in some kind of coolly presented set? I love that idea, Dave. That would be fantastic. Will they do it? I think we're more likely to get a 3-pack of I don't know, Bo-Katan and her 2 buddies or something, which would be equally as awesome. But I love your idea, mate, and that's something to think about. All right, then, so we're going to draw the winner right now, and I've got the URL for the video from the giveaway where you've left all your comments. So there it is there. And what we're going to do is we're going to filter out duplicate users, because I did notice one particular person left about 20 comments thinking that would help them win the competition. Unfortunately, it doesn't. You can only enter once, so it's fair's fair. Filter duplicate users. So we'll get the comments. And there's 385 unique comments. So let's pick the winner. Good luck to everyone. And thank you once again to Anthony Robinson for putting the 2 prizes up for giveaway. Here we go. Congratulations to Adam Golaski. If you'd like to send me an email or, contact me on social media somehow, I will try and find your comment on the video and reply to it as well. So hopefully that will, prompt you that you've won. Congratulations. If you do not claim the prize within a week, then I will do a redraw. And he has said, I want to enter the competition. Thank you. But thank you for supporting the channel. I hope you're a subscriber, because you do need to be a subscriber. But I'll be in contact somehow. But congratulations. Gabe Saria says, hey, Bossk, why do you think the Black Series gets fan votes for the archive waves, but the Vintage Collection just gets random repacks like Queen Amidala? Who decides who gets repacked? I would have liked to have seen General Grievous, Anakin from Revenge of the Sith with facial scan tech. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with those two. I don't know. I think the Black Series, they only got the 1 vote, didn't they? And the rest of the wave was decided by Hasbro, so they did get 1 vote. And Vintage Collections have had votes in the past and things like that. So I don't think it's just the Black Series that gets that. But it would be nice to have some kind of input to say, these are the figures that we think should be repacked. But they've got their reasons. They don't always tell us what those reasons are. But, we've just got to lump it, really. And following on from that, Jack DeFranco says, question for next week. If you could pick the next repack wave of any 4 Vintage Collection figures, who would you choose? Very similar. I would have definitely General Grievous. I would probably have one of the Weequays. Both Weequays I need loose still, so I'd happily have either of those in a repack wave. You could possibly argue for Commander Cody being in a repack wave. And possibly the Echo Base Rebel Soldier. That's another, army builder. I think a lot of people would like that. So possibly those 4, I think, would be a very good repack wave. Boba Fettuccini. That's a great name, if I've pronounced it right. If you could get 1 Hot Toy figure for your collection, what would it be? Oh, wow, that's a good one. I don't own any Hot Toys, so I could say the obvious one. I really would like the Hot Toys Bossk. It looks fantastic, but there are lots of others that I've seen and really almost pulled the trigger on. I think the Imperial Hoth or Snow Troopers look absolutely fantastic. I think they came in like a 2-pack. They look amazing. I think any of the troopers look great in Hot Toys. Also, obviously, the Mandalorian looks great, and the new Death Watch Mandalorian looks fantastic, and that's the one that I almost, pulled the trigger on. But I think a lot of people I know are right, and when they say it's a bit of a rabbit hole, Hot Toys, you buy one and then you find yourself buying a few more, and that's a dangerous place to go because they're very expensive. Owen Brown says, who would you like to see most in the gaming greats if it came to the Vintage Collection? Oh, there's quite a few, but I think I would like to see Iden Versio would be a great one. I can't see that happening though, because it would mean a new sculpt and everything. And I think the gaming greats for the Vintage Collection to begin with will be repacks, repaints. I would imagine they will utilise the VC-140 Rogue One Stormtrooper and give us like a Stormtrooper Commando and things like that from the Battlefront games and things like that. So it would be great if that line could be a really big success, and then we could obviously get some characters that have never been made before. Duloc Shaman says, question for next week, if you could cancel one figure in the original 96 and replace it with a character, what would you do? Man, that's a really good question. I like that one. I think that's quite easy for me, actually. I would get rid of the Imperial Dignitary. The figure doesn't really do a lot. It's not in the film for too long. It's, let's face it, a little bit of a boring character. He doesn't say anything particularly. So, and then there's figures like, the Rebel Fleet Trooper that we've just got in the Tanty 4 playset. That figure really needed a vintage figure back in the day. I don't think there's too many people that could argue with that. Liam Mahadi says, question for next week, when do you think we will get a Vintage Collection Captain Rex with a new, better mould? I'm not sure we'll get one for a while, if I'm honest, and that's a bit of a shame. They did say that the one that we got in the vintage collection, they did not say that they would be making a new one there and then. All they said was that they won't use that one ever again. We don't need to worry that they'll never repack that figure again, which is, you know, it's nice to know, but it doesn't mean that they're going to be immediately making a new Captain Rex. Now, we've got these three guys. We really need a decent Captain Rex. Whether they'll do that with some of these parts, maybe, if they can do that, I don't know. I can't see it happening anytime soon, though, to be honest. Big missed opportunity. Latitude 65 says, question for next week, will Hasbro do a vintage board game for Return of the Jedi? If so, what game? And what retro figure would you like to see included? This is a bit of a difficult one because I don't think that Kenner released a board game for the Return of the Jedi. They did the Hoth one and they did the Escape the Death Star one. So Hasbro can just, you know, redo those with a new figure. I believe the Return of the Jedi game was something called Battle of the Sarlacc Pit or something, and it was made by the Parker brothers. Now, whether they can somehow get that license or maybe just invent a new game or something to be Return of the Jedi, I do not know. What figure would I like to see included? Obviously, it'd have to be a character that they've never done before because that's kind of the way they do it. So, I don't know. It's quite difficult with Return of the Jedi because we did get a lot of Return of the Jedi figures. Maybe like Wedge Antilles or something would be pretty good. We need him from the, you know, the battle from above Endor and what have you. So, yeah, maybe Wedge Antilles, but, you know, it's anybody's guess. And it's anybody's guess if they can find a game to actually pack him in with. So, who knows what's going to happen there. All right then, guys, that's it for this week. Congratulations to the winner of the giveaway, and I want to thank you all for watching again. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it, and we shall see you on the next one.